Welcome. In this video I'm going to install Hold'em Manager 2 all the way through to having a HUD working on a live table. First I'm going to give you a brief overview of how Hold'em Manager works. First, your poker client writes hand history files to your hard drive. Then Hold'em Manager finds these hand history files and imports them into the Hold'em Manager PostgreSQL database. So two key things need to happen for Hold'em Manager to work. Your poker client must save the hand history files to your hard drive. Some don't do this by default, and I'll cover this a bit later. And Hold'em Manager must find these hand history files. They can be anywhere on your hard drive, but Hold'em Manager can also auto-detect most poker client installs. Now that we have the basics of how Hold'em Manager works, let's go ahead and install HM2. Our combo installer will install PostgreSQL and Microsoft's .NET 4 framework if your system doesn't already have these programs. So here I'm on my desktop and I've downloaded Hold'em Manager 2, the full setup file, which is over 100 megabytes. I'm going to double click this and run it. Currently my system does not have Postgres installed or Hold'em Manager. So this is fairly basic here. Just go through the licensing, and then here you can see PostgreSQL is required, but I don't have it and it's checked. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next here with both Hold'em Manager and PostgreSQL checked. And using the default destination folder here is highly recommended. I'm going to click Next again. And here it's installing PostgreSQL. I'm going to pause the video while it's doing this and then come back as soon as the installation is complete. The first time you run Hold'em Manager 2, you're going to go through the Hold'em Manager 2 setup wizard. Here you can import a database from Hold'em Manager 1 if Postgres was already installed and you had your Hold'em Manager 1 database there. Since I don't have a Hold'em Manager 1 database, it's not going to ask me to import from there. But I'm going to show you how to do it inside the program here in a minute too. So on this screen, it's going to create a new database, Hold'em Manager 2, and then it says to use the default database parent folder location, which is here. And I recommend that you use the defaults here. I'm going to click Next, and then it's basically finished here, saying what it's going to do. It's going to create the database. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. And it's going to pull up a web page here of our facts where you can read some more information about the first time install and stuff. But since you're watching the video, I'm just going to run through this with you here. Earlier I said I'd show you how to import your Hold'em Manager 1 database from inside of Hold'em Manager 2. So now that Hold'em Manager 2 is installed, I'm going to go down here to the bottom right and click the Hold'em Manager 2 database button here. Then over here on the Import tab, you can import from Hold'em Manager 1, and you can see here no Hold'em Manager 1 database. Just remember, I just installed Postgres, so I have a fresh database. But if you did have a Hold'em Manager 1 database, this is how you can import the hands. Now there's also another way to import your hands, and that's finding them on your hard drive. So let me go ahead and go over here and we'll find my archive folders. So you can see this is my C drive. In your archive folders where Hold'em Manager saves your hand history files is right here. It's either in the HM2 archive or the HM archive. And as you can see, as you drill down here, you can see that it's sorted by year, month, and day. So that's another way that you can import your old hands into Hold'em Manager 2. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to get your HUD working if it doesn't already work after an install, because again, we do set up a lot of things automatically here. So the first thing I'm going to check is my auto import folders, and that's by clicking the hand importing button in the ribbon and then the auto import folders. Now this is good news. I have Carbon Poker installed and it automatically found that folder. Now you can click this auto detect button, and sometimes a new site with a hand history folder will come up, or you can actually manually add this folder. Now, what folder is this, right? So, the next thing you want to do is open up your poker client. Let's go ahead and do that. I have merge here, and you want to make sure that your poker client is saving hand history files. Remember, there's two things to make Hold'em Manager work. Number one, make sure the poker client is saving hand history files to your hard drive. And number two, have Hold'em Manager pick those up. And that's what this auto import folder list is here. So inside of the merge carbon poker client, I believe the hand history options are over here in settings and then hand history settings. Now you want to make sure enable hand histories is checked, because otherwise it's not going to save this location to your hard drive. And then the current location here is where these hand histories are going to be saved. And this is the location that you want to make sure that the Hold'em Manager auto import folder list has properly selected that folder location. Okay, I believe that these hand history folders are set up correctly, so let's go ahead and open up a table, and my HUD should just work. Let me find a table where I can sit down. And I'll go ahead and fast forward until it's my big blind, because we won't see the HUD until the first hand that we play is complete on most sites. Okay, I'm back here. This is the end of the first hand, and the hand should import now, and my HUD should come up, in which it did. Let's go ahead and see if we can make a few cents here. Okay, everything looks normal now, and this is how you set up Hold'em Manager 2 from a first-time install to getting your HUD working. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email support@holdemmanager.com or post in our forums with any questions you may have. Just remember, to get Hold'em Manager to work, your poker client must be saving hand histories to your hard drive. You can actually double check these hand history files by going into Windows Explorer to that folder location to make sure the hand history files are being saved. And then number two, Hold'em Manager must find these hand history files and be able to import them into Hold'em Manager 2.